Good evening everyone and welcome to the Chrissy B Show, and it's our top to toe section today. So we've got various things on the show today. So we've got the usual news with the lovely Excel, and sometimes she brings some news that I don't know what she's going to be speaking about, but as we did last week, right Excel?
Yes, indeed.
Some crazy stories that she brought to us last week. I don't know what's in store for us today, so make sure you stay tuned. I'll also be showing you my latest challenge that I did in Wales. I'll be answering a question from a viewer. And also we have popular media TV doctor on Dr Rob Hicks, who's going to be telling us all about antibiotics and why we shouldn't take them if we have a cold or flu. So that's really interesting stuff. So do stay tuned. But first of all, we're going to start with the news with Excel.
Hello,
Excel.
I'm good.
I'm a bit nervous about what you're going to bring to us today.
Well, I tried. Today's not too, let me see, do I have any scandalous bits today? Well, you're just going to have to wait and find out, Chrissy. Well, I have to say, if you permit me, I have to shout out to a few viewers.
Oh, go on then. Yeah,
evening.
she was telling me this before.
I know. I have a few friends who are watching me, so now I will not have stage fright. Hello, Amy. Hello, Sarah. Hello, Priscilla. Hello, everyone that is watching me from my team.
Who are these from your team?
I know. Yes, yes, where I work in the NHS, and we're a specialist team dealing with early intervention. So, hello.
All right.
And everybody else I've invited to watch the show.
Oh, hello, everybody. All of Excel's friends.
Oh gosh, am I going to be trending on Twitter now? Okay, here we go. Do you have a onesie?
Do you know what? As in sleepwear or
any which way you want to use it.
I have a, what do you call it?
All in one. Well, I suppose onesies are like the it name now, but yeah, it's a catsuit.
I have two.
Yeah. Oh, hello. With like completely snug, like obviously top to toe, right? All in one kind of thing. Yeah. Don't be scared.
Do you mean sleepwear? Because I don't have a sleepwear one.
No, it can be sleepwear, or it can be just like a lounging.
A
lounging. No, it's not. It's not.
No, I don't lounge in them.
Would I give you a trick question?
I don't lounge in them, no.
All right, okay.
Why?
Onesies are the in thing now, basically, right? Where people walk about in, and quite shockingly, I've seen a few people walk the streets with them.
Yeah, but if it's like day wear, it's fine.
Really? Well, on this occasion, it came in handy because a new mother was left stunned when her baby couldn't wait to come out, and she basically gave birth in the leg of her onesie.
No.
So for those who don't know what a onesie is, yes, well, no, we don't have a picture of the mother, unfortunately, and the
onesie.
But
that's just to see if we're talking about the same thing.
The example of a onesie I have is just a generic one from a shop. It's got a hood. It's all in one bodysuit and everything, and it's just sort of like it's quite snug apparently, very warm and comfortable,
Yeah,
and especially in this weather.
It's an elegant one.
Well, that looks like an elegant one. What are you trying to say, Chrissy?
That's a sporty one. Oh no,
well,
the poor thing. Back to the mum. She gave birth in the leg.
Yeah, the baby obviously couldn't wait. Her name is Jessica Winter from Streatham in South London, and if it hadn't been for the fact that she was wearing it, because the child popped out literally. And it would have hit the pavement. Oh, no. I'm sorry, but it would have been some serious, like, it's a girl, what? And you'd have missed it, because apparently it was very quick. She said she was waiting, she was in the car park, and her mother came round, and within seconds of getting out of the car, Jessica screamed and said, "He's here." And she ran to her, and sure enough, the baby had fallen into the leg of the onesie. That is just fabulous. But I have to say, that is a quick birth. I mean, I don't know, obviously she would have had...
I don't understand how come some women go through so much when they're in labour and it takes them hours, and then others it just pops out.
Maybe it's the onesie that drew it out. This is like the womb.
You can see all these pregnant women walking around in onesies.
Actually, I have seen a few. Yeah. I have seen a few women in onesie. They're apparently very comfortable. I haven't got one. Maybe
they are, but if you need to go to the toilet really quick, they're not ideal.
No, not really.
It takes a while to take them off.
But on this occasion here now, she said all they had to do was undo the zip, and there he was, tucked up safely in the leg. And and they were actually saying if she hadn't had it on, he would have popped out. This would have fallen out, basically. So I don't know if it's a case of if this is a first birth or whether he's a really small baby. I really don't know. Doctors then rushed to her aid, really, and took her into the ward where, he was found to be healthy. There were no complications or anything. And apparently the onesie...
I had a picture of him. I want to see him now.
I know. I couldn't, I'm sorry. I couldn't I didn't quite have the connections.
People can just look him up, right?
Yeah, we can look him up, yeah.
Baby born in onesie.
Exactly. The onesie has now been washed and will be a keepsake for the family. Fabulous, fabulous. Right, next thing. Christmas presents. How would you feel if your Christmas present was an entire bedroom wrapped up in Christmas paper?
What, to assemble myself?
No, the entire bedroom. Sofa, pillow, table, flowers, carpet, wrapped.
I'd be chuffed.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
Imagine, that's a huge present.
2 housemates did that to their third housemate. There's 3 of them in total. And one of them, this one that they did it to, had gone away for the new year. So the other 2 housemates wrapped everything in his bedroom in Christmas paper.
Oh, what he already had, you mean?
What he already
had. Oh,
had.
that's horrible then. I thought you meant a whole new
So he came
bedroom.
back to a
horrible.
bedroom. His bed was wrapped. His
funny,
duvet was wrapped. His ornaments on the table was wrapped. His everything. The walls were wrapped. And I have a photo of this. Well, 2 photos of this.
Oh, joking. Look at that.
And they actually covered everything. His TV. You can see the side. You can see the chest of drawers there. Everything was just all wrapped. The windows are even covered in Christmas paper.
No.
And then on the door they left a note saying Merry Crimbo, and then love from, I think their names are Robert, Stuart and Craig. So Robert and Stuart did it to Craig. They live in Hampshire.
People just have time to kill.
Oh,
That
yeah.
must have taken hours.
Apparently they spent 2 days gift wrapping everything while he was away over the new year. And as expected, of course, he wasn't impressed when he discovered that his room has been all wrapped up.
And there was nothing new for him to unwrap in there.
No.
That's horrible.
But then again, he says he can't
Change of
complain.
friends.
Well, he says he can't complain because they did an earlier prank on another person.
Oh,
so
there you
now it
have
was,
then.
karma and all
it.
that comes to bite. And apparently he then said that apparently they did, it was Argos catalogs they did against the other person, and they plastered his wall with Argos catalog pages. And so when the
How
other
old
two...
are these gentlemen?
Well, they're students. Oh yeah, 23. They only gave the age of 1, so yeah, the young.
Oh, well, some men just take a bit more time to mature than others, I suppose.
No comment. The other bit of news I have here, which is quite interesting. You have a cat, don't you?
Yes, of course I have a cat. I go on about her. It's all over my Instagram, everywhere.
Just wanted to
people
check,
sick
just
of
in
my
case,
cat.
just in case. Doing it for my friends who are watching today. Right. Would you like to know what your cat is thinking?
Yes.
Well, you're going to have
She
to
looks
wait.
like she will speak to me one day.
Well, you're going to have to wait because we now have dog to English translator software.
Oh.
Because apparently by April, we could have the first translator. And it's actually titled No More Wolf. And it hopes to deliver the first translation device because after they hope to do some fundraising of $10,000, but apparently ended up raising $15,000 in record time. And patterns that they've discovered so far with the animal thought patterns they've found from the dog is, I'm tired, I'm excited, and who are you?
But you can tell what animals are thinking anyway.
Can you really?
Yes, I know what Nina wants. She actually brings me things to throw for her. She brings these ribbons to me, she drops them at my feet, and then she starts headbutting me to mean that she wants to play. Then I throw it and she brings it back and I throw it because she thinks she's a dog.
Really?
Yeah.
You see, that's another cat I've come across that thinks it's a dog.
But I know what she wants because she tells me.
Because
so I don't
cats
need a
tend to be
translator.
so, you will serve me when I need
No,
you.
she's lovely.
Really? She
Yeah.
comes to play? Fab.
Yeah, she does.
Fab. But apparently, for those who are saying that it's a waste of time and all that, there are also plans for French, Spanish, and Mandarin versions of this software. So watch this space. You might be having dogs Skyping and chatting with each other. So, you know, they're all hooked up, ready to, that's a mutt that's ready to chat.
to each other.
You know, all you have to do is just watch Dr. Dolittle, really. Do you have time for one more?
I'm not sure, do we? I think we might. Well, they're not
Okay.
telling me anything inside, so I'm just going to carry on until they tell me.
Well, okay, we'll go ahead then. The next bit of news I have is a woman who was shocked to lose weight.
I've got 1 minute, they just told me.
we're just going to have to find out how she did this after the break.
What happened?
Then.
She did what? Sorry?
She was shocked into losing weight.
Oh. Oh, how could that be then?
Oh, you
Maybe
find out.
maybe she got sick. She got some results of something.
Let's just say it was something that startled her to do that. Not so much of a negative thing, but it was a shock factor, I would say.
Okay, so let's find out what that shock factor was after the break. And if you want to send in your comments, you can email me on chris@chrissybshow.tv. You can also tweet Chrissy B Show and also Facebook, The Chrissy B Show. And later on, XO, you're going to stay with us because we will be speaking to Dr. Rob Hicks about antibiotics and why we shouldn't take them when we have a flu or cold. Interesting stuff, right?
Yep.
Okay, so join us after this.
Don't forget to subscribe to The Chrissy B Show, always aiming to show you the happier side of life. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back to the show, and now I'm going to show you another challenge that I did in Wales with TYF Adventure. And Excel, you were there as well for that one, weren't you?
Yes, I was.
Did you enjoy it?
I did.
Okay, so let's take a look. Hi everyone, today I'm over in Wales ready for my next challenge, Chrissy, which is going to be kayaking, and I'm here with John from TYF Adventures. Hi John, how are you?
Hi Chrissy, very well, thank you.
So we're going to be kayaking today. Can you talk us through what we're going to do first?
Yeah, certainly. We're going to be heading down to just the far end of the harbour. This is Porthclais Harbour, St David's local harbour. We're going to head down there, we'll get the kayaks. We're going to be on sit-on-top kayaks. We'll learn a few skills in the harbour and then hopefully get a little bit of a potter around outside on the coastal line as well.
Right, okay, so let's get going, guys.
Get your bottom right into the back of the seat, and then you've got these little ledges here that you can put your feet in. So you're aiming for a bent knee position, okay, with your bum right in the back of the seat, trying to keep your head above your bottom as much as possible. That's going to keep you nicely balanced. If you start with that right hand blade, that's going to go in down by your feet. So your feet are out in front of you there. I'm going to place that right hand blade in the water. When I've placed that in the water, I'm going to pull it all the way down the side of the kayak until it exits behind your bum. Okay, once I've done that then, if I was to put my left blade in the water now without doing anything, that's just going to slice through the water, which isn't going to help me very much. Okay, so when I've done that right stroke, pulled it all the way down, I'm going to twist with my right wrist back towards me, which sets up my left blade ready to enter the water. Okay, fantastic.
I'm absolutely knackered. It's quite a good workout on the arms, isn't it?
Certainly is, yeah, and the stomach as well.
Stomach, yeah. Did I
Well
pass,
done.
John?
I think you've passed, yeah, really well done. Nice
Cool.
one, Chrissy.
That's another challenge. I know I looked a bit unenthusiastic, but I was so tired by the second day because we've done all the activities the day before, hadn't we? After a 6-hour drive.
Oh yeah.
I was so
And
tired.
it was freezing
but
cold.
it was cold. But it was great fun. And thanks again to John from Tea Wife Adventure.
Yeah.
Great stuff. All right, so we had you asked us a question before the break, Excel.
Yes.
Which was?
A bride was shocked into losing weight.
How could she be shocked into losing weight? Because you see these programs on TV about how they show them sort of what they might look like in like 20 years if they don't stop, or things like that, or they show them like the whole week's food consumption.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
None of those?
It's something along those lines.
Oh, really?
Yeah. If I can show the first photo, then we can have a clue.
It's coming.
It's coming. It's coming.
Right.
No, the one before this one. Do you know what that is, Chrissy?
No. Can we leave it up a bit? I can't really tell. Well, it's a cake.
That was the figurine on top of her wedding cake.
Oh, and who did that?
Well, obviously the cake person who was doing that for her wedding, so they must have done it and showed it to her. So when she found her sort of a figurine that obviously was made to resemble the couple.
I thought she might, oh God.
So she felt that the tubby figurine on top of her wedding cake was not quite what she wanted to be seen as.
Okay, so what did she do?
So basically, her what according to the article that I found, she said I'd been big for most of my life and I was planning my wedding, but this was a painful reminder. So the marzipan lookalike didn't quite make her enthusiastic for.
But did she lose the weight for the
yes,
wedding?
she did, and she said the way she put it was the fat little cake topper just summed me up.
Oh.
I even grew between picking my wedding dress and picking it up.
Okay, so that was her before.
I was a size 16, but by the time I got the dress, I'd become a size 18. I just couldn't get into it, and I burst into tears. I didn't realize I'd let my weight get so bad, and I thought I could look back on my wedding photographs in shame. Fortunately, the shop was able to order a replacement dress, and she enjoyed a wonderful day when she married her husband. After her wedding, she joined Slimming World, and now she has almost achieved her dream weight. So the after picture now, really, where she's become a gorgeous, lovely, slimmer lady.
Oh, wow. How much has she lost?
She's lost, she's dropped from 107 kilograms, for those who like kilograms.
Get confused with
17 stone, for
Wow.
those of you, to 10 stone 7.
Wow.
So she's lost
7.5 stone.
almost, yeah.
That's amazing.
So,
Well done. Congratulations.
So I think that kind of, imagine.
See, I would get married all over again. I would, just to get to wear the wedding dress.
I know.
You renew your vows and wear another wedding dress and
Absolutely,
do the
nothing wrong
whole
with that.
shenanigan.
Nothing wrong with that at all. Absolutely, absolutely. But she was
Wrong word, but never mind.
But she, but she also said part of her success was a stray dog that they adopted, and I think she found going to walk with her as well was a good. And I think that's the main thing when people sort of look for ways of losing weight as opposed to kind of feeling as if it's a chore. But when you do things like, walking the dog is such a sort of like, I've got to walk the dog, but you're burning calories at the end of the day. And so she put that.
I just
part
find
of
it
her
interesting
success.
that it triggered her to do something in the first place, just because of the perception of someone else.
Exactly.
And that pushed her into doing something.
And I think looking at the figurine, because
sometimes you can be in self-denial, can't you?
Exactly. Yeah. And I think also it's a good thing that that baker did not put a generic figurine on top of a cake, for example. You could have just put any old, just stick any plastic thing on there or whatever, or slim size, but she actually made it, if you like, true to life. And I think that kind of was like, whoa, do I look like that? So, but all's well that ends well, I say.
Well, congratulations to her. Well done.
Absolutely.
Great.
And now a bit of a food for thought story here. I thought this was. A woman was left blind when her pet dog chewed her face off.
Not another one. I've heard something like this before. Go on.
And basically, her name's Wendy. She lives in Preston in Lancashire, and she was knocked unconscious when she fell down the stairs in her home. She woke up in agony 2 hours later, covered in blood, after her dog Cassie had chewed at her face.
Oh my God.
This is what she looked like before, if we can see the after
Hang on,
picture.
do we need to warn our viewers? Okay, we didn't get a chance to warn our viewers. Thanks, Excel.
Oops.
Sorry, everybody.
But yeah, you can see. But I think that
Oh gosh.
the thing as well, what happened was, it wasn't as though the dog attacked her. It was because she fell unconscious. I think she actually fell down the stairs. And so at the bottom of the stairs, she lay on the floor and unconscious, not moving.
Well, it should be
and
like
so,
on the films when the dog goes and calls for help, not chews your face off.
well, I know, but I think
what
they're saying is because it's the kind of like, he got frantic. The dog got more frantic when it's like licking your face, like get up, kind of thing. You know, we talked about dogs speaking earlier. So the dog tried to lick her awake in a sense, but when that didn't work, it kind of like got a bit more frantic and kind of got a bit more desperate and kind of got a bit. So yeah, unfortunately, started to nibble.
So she's completely blind. She can't see anything. She can't
Well, she couldn't see anything, but now she's had about 100 operations, believe it or not, whereby she now had, I suppose Dr. Hicks can even say more about this possibly. There is a surgery where you can use someone's tooth to create like a, what's the word? An iris in the eye, so they can see again. So she actually got a tooth, her canine tooth, part of her tooth was taken.
Should have taken the dog's tooth.
I know, isn't it? Use the dog's tooth, recycle.
Yeah.
No, but unfortunately, the dog had to be put down because it's tasted
that.
blood. Yeah, I mean, that's what happens in cases like this anyway. So the dog had to be put down. But like I said, the tooth was now used to create something in her eye for her to be able to see again.
Oh, brilliant.
I don't think it's 100%. I don't think it can be 100%. And this procedure is known as, I've been practicing, osteoodontokeratoprosthesis. It's a 2-stage procedure.
Just if you're ever going to use that word anyway.
Just in case you want to sound clever at a dinner party, you know. It's a 2-stage procedure that uses the tooth, and it's removed, shaped and drilled to allow the implantation of an artificial corneal device, and then it's implanted in the eye. So then she can,
I'm so
I
glad
suppose
she's
she can
got a
see.
chance to have a sight
She has tunnel vision, she says, in her left eye, but at least she can see something. However, what it is as well, I think why I say it's a food for thought story is that she was an alcoholic, and she used to be quite recklessly drinking. She would spend, I think, a bottle of vodka a day, and she spends weeks, you know, she said she believed she was weeks away from dying from the extent where she was. So she ends up saying the dog's name was Cassie, and she said, Cassie saved my life because I'd rather be blind than dead.
Oh, wow, that's an interesting way of looking at it.
Well, yeah, so she was able to sort of see the positive side, really. And she said she was in hospital for 3 months.
So she's not drinking anymore.
She said she's not touched the thing anymore now. She said she was in hospital for 3 months, and they reckoned that if she'd done it to the left-hand side where her brain was, she wouldn't have survived. So the dog bit her on the right side, literally. And she was taken to the hospital where her face was rebuilt from her stomach and her leg. The genius of medicine nowadays, I tell you. And but she says when they told her she was going to have a tooth put in her eye, she said she didn't believe it. But now she sees that it works, and she's overcome really that the fact that she can see her grandchildren and she can, you know, she can do stuff again. Obviously, she's not perfect vision, but she said,
I wonder if she's going to get another dog.
I know. I wonder as well.
That's risky, isn't it?
But she said she's owned this dog. It wasn't a new dog as well. She's owned this dog for 10 years. So it wasn't just sort of like a random...
That's what I say. As much as I love animals, and I really do, I don't trust them, like, completely. You can't. They're just there's an animal at the end of the day. They're capable of anything. Yeah, yeah. I mean, in a way, this is why I'm saying she managed to see the positive in this case here, because the dog doing that to her has made her quit alcohol. Yes, it's a bit extreme. I'm not saying everyone who wants to quit alcohol, get a dog to bite your face off. But the positives at the end of the day was that it got her to think. Got her to rethink her life, and I think that's the good thing about it. And she says she hasn't touched a drop of alcohol, and after what has happened to her, she wants to help people with addictions because she doesn't want anyone else to go through what she's done, what she did. So, I mean, even the doctor, the ophthalmologist at the hospital where the procedure was carried out, says her courage has got her to where she is today, and she's not afraid of giving anything a go. So we wish her very well, really. Wow. Yeah. Great stuff.
Lovely lady.
Any more stories for us before we go to a break?
Well, it depends on whether... If you found that one gory...
Oh, no. Not too gory, please. We have children watching during the day.
No, it's not too gory. I just have...
All right, we're going to go to a break first, I think. All right, and then actually stay with us because we're going to be speaking to Dr. Rob Hicks.
Absolutely.
For antibiotics.
Absolutely.
Why we shouldn't take them with flus or for flus or colds or anything like that. and then you can tell us your gory story after the break, so do join us.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Chrissy B Show, always aiming to show you the happier side of life. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back to the show, and now we're going to be speaking to Dr. Rob Hicks all about antibiotics and why we shouldn't take them for flus and colds, really.
It's true, and actually, Exel, you already gave the clue away. And
she's just too smart for her own good. Well, she didn't say it on TV, so you can tell me.
Well, the answer is common cold is caused by a number of different viruses. The flu is caused by a virus. Antibiotics do not treat viruses. They treat bacterial infections, so they treat a different type of germ, essentially. So when you've got a runny nose and you're sneezing and a sore throat and your doctor says you've got the common cold, no, you don't need antibiotics, then they're doing you a favour, because the antibiotics are not going to help. And in fact, one of the things we're very concerned about, globally, is that the overuse and the inappropriate use of antibiotics is breeding what we call antibiotic resistance, which means that the bacteria are becoming resistant, and they're changing so that the antibiotics won't work. And we're finding ourselves in a situation where some of the traditional antibiotics won't work to treat certain bacterial infections. And there aren't that many, if any, new antibiotics in the development pipeline. So we have to be very careful, and we have to be very caring of our antibiotics, and only use them when it's appropriate.
And why do people expect to receive antibiotics then? Because you do, once you have a flu or cold and it's going on, it makes you feel miserable. You want something quick to get you back on your feet. So people do insist on taking them.
I think the reason being, the Treat Yourself Better Without Antibiotics campaign, they did a survey, and they found that almost 1 in 2, almost 50% of people, when they went to their doctors, were expecting antibiotics, because they thought that they were necessary and they would treat the common cold and the flu. Why is it the case? Well, I think doctors are as responsible for this, because over the years we may have given antibiotics for people who've got these virus infections, or because we weren't quite sure. So people have learned. Also, people wrongly see antibiotics as a quick fix. So in the past, they've got symptoms, they've lasted 2 or 3 days, they've not been getting better, so they've gone then to their doctor, they've been given antibiotics. Lo and behold, 4 or 5 days later, they're better. So they naturally, understandably, assume it's the antibiotics, but actually it's the natural course of the infection that would have been cleared by the body anyway.
Okay, so then what should you do if you have a cold or flu?
Well, the most important thing to do is to rest, drink lots of fluid, and use things like paracetamol, ibuprofen, to relieve the symptoms, the sore throat, maybe the headache if you get one.
So these tablets that we have now, I won't say the names of them, but they say that you take them for 7 days and it's to help cure your cold and flu. Do they actually, or they're just sort of masking the...
Well, what they're doing is they're treating the symptoms.
Okay.
So most of the combination cold and flu treatments will have some paracetamol in them. They may have some caffeine in them, because that assists and that promotes the pain-killing effects of things like paracetamol. And they may have a decongestant in them to relieve the stuffiness. So one of the important things about these infections is that your pharmacist is an incredibly good source of information. So really your first port of call for advice with a common cold or indeed the flu ought to be your local pharmacist, because they'll be able to tell you not only the relevant treatments that you can get over the counter, but also they will also be able to advise you if you do need to see your doctor. If you've got a fever that isn't disappearing, or maybe the phlegm you're coughing up is bloodstained, for example. Maybe you've been getting some breathlessness. Those are the sorts of things with these infections that should prompt a doctor's advice.
Okay, and how long should you expect to have certain symptoms or have a cold or flu?
Well, that's a really good question, because one of the other things that the survey found was people were heading off to their doctors far too early. On average, the common cold, you can expect the symptoms to last for 10 days. For a cough...
That's quite a long time though, isn't it?
It's the body needs that time to fight the virus and to recover. And it is, most people thought, actually 2 or 3 days. And that's why they headed off to the doctors, because they didn't think they weren't getting better. Sore throat can last up to a week. The flu can last for up to 2 weeks. A cough can last for up to 3 weeks. And we see that, those of us who've experienced colds over the seasons will know that even though the sore throat may have gone, the sneezing may have stopped, you're still left with this kind of irritating dry cough that upsets you.
And you get worried after a week, don't you, if you've had a cough for a while. And it's because it feels like it's gone on for a lot longer as well, because it's so irritating and you can't sleep well because you keep yourself awake by coughing, basically. It just seems to go on forever, and then you worry.
And then you've got people around you saying, you really ought to go and see your doctor about that. Have you still got that cough? Have you still got that runny nose? So again, I mean, there's a fantastic website, treatyourselfbetter.co.uk, which has got loads of information about the symptoms, how long they last, the things you can do to relieve the symptoms whilst your body is fighting these infections, and indeed when you should head off and seek medical advice, but also the benefits of popping in to see your pharmacist. Okay,
so the bottom line is, don't expect to take antibiotics or for your doctor to give you antibiotics. The doctor is doing you a favour if they do not give you antibiotics. Yes. And also to be wary of how long it does actually take to get over. Now let's talk about prevention.
Yeah, prevention.
Because that's really important, isn't it?
Really important, because a lot of these infections, you can avoid them. And so, for example, if you're somebody who's got a cough or a cold or the flu, and you're coughing and sneezing, be kind to the people around you. Cover your mouth and nose with a disposable tissue, throw it away immediately, and wash your hands. Yeah, very important.
Do you know what I do if someone's sort of sneezing around me? I hold my breath if I'm walking past them. Yes. I don't know if that actually helps. Well, I try not to breathe anything in.
Well, but it's communicating a message to them that maybe they're not behaving in the most caring and responsible way. The other thing that we can all be doing, certainly during these winter months, where there are lots of coughs and colds around, is washing our hands frequently with soap and water, because the viruses that are sprayed when people cough and sneeze, they will survive on hard surfaces, for up to 2 days. So all you need to do is touch them. They go onto your fingers. If you then touch your mouth or inside your nose or your eyes, you can bring that infection into yourself. It's not just about being around people when they're spraying it at you. You can infect yourself by touching these surfaces.
So if someone in your family has a cold or something, like, just keep cleaning?
Well, yeah, I think you have to do it in moderation. I mean, you're not spending every waking hour of the day, but wiping down the surfaces, let's say once a day, but making sure that you've got some, alcohol gel, with you if you're away from, soap and water. And the other thing that they teach them in school, which I think is brilliant, is when you're washing your hands, it takes as long as it takes to sing Happy Birthday. That's how long you should wash your hands for.
Oh.
Now, if you're singing it quickly, you should sing it twice. But generally speaking, Happy Birthday once through is long enough. Okay,
that's quite long, actually, isn't it?
So if you hear somebody in the bathroom, the tap's running and they're singing Happy Birthday to somebody, don't think they're strange. They're actually doing the right thing.
Okay, that's about right. Yeah, that's a good tip. And in terms of diet and what a person eats, how can you also prevent getting ill?
Yes, I mean, you've got to keep your immune system strong. And one of the ways of doing that, diet is very important. The fruit and veg, they get all the nutrients, specifically, vitamin C and iron.
Goji berries are wonderful for that. I did put that up on my Facebook page.
There we are. And also
Instagram.
For zinc as well. So very important to have a healthy diet. Not smoking, incredibly important. Regular exercise. Keeping stress under control, and my favourite actually is smiling and laughing, because there are some studies that suggest that will boost the infection fighting cells within the body, and it costs nothing, does it, to give somebody a smile.
So that's why people should watch this show, because it's a happy show.
Absolutely.
We smile a lot on this show, don't we?
Yeah, we could actually be the preventative treatment.
The common cold, there you go, watch the Chrissy B Show.
People have been looking for ways to prevent the common cold. Maybe your show is it.
Okay, that's great. So Rob, thank you so much for that information. And it certainly opened my eyes anyway, because I really did think... By the way, Rob, just so you know, I bought myself a what's it called?
A carbon monoxide alarm. Congratulations. Yes, I hope lots of our viewers did as well.
Yes, I hope so too. Yeah. Haven't installed it yet, haven't put it on. It's come in the post, you see, so I have to collect it from somewhere, but it has come.
Okay, next time.
Next time you come on.
We need a picture of it installed. And remember, you only have to really switch it on, put it on a shelf or a surface. It doesn't need drilling into the ceiling or drilling into the wall.
It's a simple thing.
It's simple.
Okay, Rob, thank you so much, and we'll see you again next time.
Thank you.
Very soon. Okay, Excel, you're going to be speaking to us about the next news article.
Yes, I will.
So do stay tuned, and we'll talk more after this.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Chrissy B Show, always aiming to show you the happier side of life. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back. So now it's time to answer a question from a viewer, and this one is a very serious one actually. This gentleman says, my partner and I split up a while ago, but we still constantly argue because she keeps going out and getting drunk, and when she gets drunk things get very bad. We have a 4-year-old and I don't think that she's a good role model for her. I'm not saying that she cannot go out, but if she cannot manage her drink, then don't drink. I really love her and hate being away from our daughter. I want them both in my life, but I cannot get through to her how she's destroying her life and the future of our child. Now, first of all, this is a very serious case because there is a child involved and the child must come first. So if you feel that your daughter is in any sort of danger whatsoever, there has to be some kind of intervention. Maybe if that means your daughter staying with you or contacting the relevant authorities, that has to be done as a matter of urgency because, you know, if you feel that she's in any danger, she's a priority, your daughter's a priority. Now, about your ex, if you want to get back together and there's a reason that you split in the first place, has anything been resolved since you split up? There's no point in, you know, fighting to get back with someone when nothing actually has been resolved. So what's the reason, for example, that she's drinking? Did something happen? Was it between the two of you? Is that being addressed at the moment? Because if the two of you get back together and nothing has changed, it will be the same old problems. So if I were in your shoes, I would contact her, but not have an argument in any way, just to talk. You know, if she starts going on about something or arguing with you, don't argue back. See if you can manage to talk about some things, resolve some things, and even like suggest some couples counselling. But I would say definitely the first priority is your daughter, to get that sorted out and make sure she's safe, and then work on the relationship after that. So if you need any help or you need any organisations that can help, please do email me on chris@chrissybshow.tv. And if you at home also have a question, you'd like to know what I would do in your situation if you're going through something, please do email me as well. Excel.
Hello.
Oh, by the way, in response to your the article you read about the dog translation thing,
Right.
Dominic here says, my dog speaks English anyway, so it doesn't need a translation device. So thanks for that, Dominic.
Well, I didn't make it,
Sweetie.
Dominic. So right there,
We've got time for, I think, you said this is a gory one. I'm not sure if I want to hear
Well,
this one.
it's not really good. I had to sensationalize my news, Chrissy.
Sal,
So I've got to keep the viewers hooked in. Come on. It's a gimmick, it's a strategy, and it worked. Well, it is slightly, or is it? Well, a 55-year-old man had a lucky escape after an 8-centimeter long nail.
Oh no.
Guess where it went?
Not in his eye.
Ripped into his skull while he was doing DIY.
Oh dear.
See, this is another excuse why people will not be doing DIY over a bank holiday weekend. Like, no, it's too dangerous. But anyway, he's recovering now in hospital in Nanjing, in China. It's a province in China. And the nail has been removed by neurosurgeons. However, he did not realize that the nail had penetrated his head while he was using a cutting machine,
Oh my gosh.
decorating his home on December 29th. He said that the nail got stuck in the machine.
It went. Oh
Well,
my gosh.
this is the thing. It got stuck in the cutting machine and it flew out when he turned it on. It ripped into my head and left a small hole on the skin, he says. He only felt sick and then had to do a CT scan, was when the doctors realized that he had a nail embedded in his skull. Seriously, a nail, 8 centimeters long, a nail. Like when you were blinking, you didn't feel it. Like when you were looking around, you didn't.
Because imagine
seriously.
imagine if you actually knew the panic. Imagine.
But
Because
really,
it makes it worse, doesn't it? You start to.
you see, I can understand when people say they get hurt in a sort of like a situation where it's tense, like you've got adrenaline in your system. You
Yeah,
don't
you don't
realize that
feel
maybe
the
someone
pain
hit you
until-
or
yeah,
you
yeah.
nicked your. That's different. But this is after the event. Like you really didn't realize you had a nail in your eye. Okay, I suppose he didn't travel, so he didn't beep when the like at the airport when you had to go through like a metal detector. That's probably
Do you know,
why.
my friend was, sorry, just on another subject, my friend was telling me that she kept beeping when she went through the thing at the airport because she'd
Got a
taken...
metal plate?
No, these vitamins that were really high in iron, apparently.
No way.
And she wasn't joking. I'm thinking, is that really possible? But yeah, apparently. I don't know if that's possible.
Well, I'll have to look into that. Are you sure she wasn't having you on?
No, she wasn't.
Interesting.
But if anyone knows anything about that, please email me because that's so confusing to me. She had no metal on her whatsoever, just the tablets in her system. Anyway.
Strong. Well, indeed. Strong iron. Well, it said that the nail penetrated his eye socket and reached the, see, I've been practicing again, the petrosal bone after passing through the middle cranial fossa, meaning he just went through his eye, past the back of his nose into his brain, or into his head. And they said if they pulled the nail out directly, it would have hurt the vessels and the nerves along the way. So yeah, it was quite a delicate process to take it out. But I'm still bugging. He didn't know he had a nail in his head. It wasn't a pin. It wasn't like a needle. It was a nail.
Maybe because sometimes when something goes in that quick, you just don't maybe feel
but
it.
You wouldn't kind of like feel like, oh, even if anything gets in my eye, I get all twitchy. I want to get it out.
Yeah, I know. That's
A nail in your eye. Okay, I'll just move on.
Yes, please. I've got time for one more so I think, and then that's it before we...
Okay, dokie. Well, I
Go
have
off their dinner. Hopefully
well,
they've had their dinner by now.
I have another happy story about. I always like my weight loss stories because I think they're quite creative. After 6 months away from home, a soldier came back and he walked past his wife in the airport. Because,
let's see, I've got to see a picture of this.
Because she shed 46 kilos. If we see her before picture, she was, yes, that was her before.
Yeah.
And she was standing with her boys at the airport, and the husband recognized the boys. It was almost as if, who's this strange woman standing with them?
Well, let's see her now.
And now, how she's all very svelte.
Oh, wow.
So she shed 46
My
kilos.
gosh.
Basically, she shed another human being. Because that's 7 stone 3 pounds for those who want
so
stone.
shocked.
Yeah.
So that's nice because it must be really hard. This is what I tell sort of friends like that whose husbands are away or they're away from loved ones. Do something with that time. Don't just sit there pining for the person and thinking about them being all depressed.
That's exactly what she did.
Do something about it. I don't know, you can start a project, you can work on yourself like she did, losing the weight, or preparing a nice, redecorate the bedroom for when they get home. There's so many things that you can keep yourself occupied with instead of being depressed.
Yeah, she said she was comfort eating while her husband was away on 2 tours of Afghanistan, and she had ballooned to a size 24. And but basically she got fed up of being the fat mum at the school gates, and she dropped to a size 8. So she was a size 24 to a size 8. That's pretty impressive.
That's
and
amazing.
So she now weighs 9 stone 7, thanks to the meal replacement. She did the Cambridge diet, meal replacement loss plan. And so her husband was obviously very surprised. So like I said, he recognized the boys first and then had to do a double take and go,
that's
who's
a lovely
this?
story.
Found himself a new wife.
Okay, thank you, Excel. We've reached the end of the program.
You're
Nice,
very
happy,
welcome.
happy story there. And we'll see you again next time on the show.
Absolutely.
Okay, so that's it for today, guys. But if you do want more information about the program, do visit the website chrissybshow.tv. And don't forget that if you'd like to send me an email, maybe a topic that you'd like to see us discuss on this program, or just a question that you have for me, you can email me on chris@chrissybshow.tv. And once again, I promise to answer all emails personally. So have a wonderful, wonderful weekend, and we'll see you again next time. Bye-bye for now.